Greetings, Dr. Perry and classmates. I hope everyone is well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a journal article that I've found. It's by a woman by the name of Susan Mallon Ross, and she writes her article based on 3 of Neil Postman's books. His books, Teaching as a Subversive Activity, the book we read, Amusing Ourselves to Death, and Technopoly. So, here's the title of the journal article, Postman, Media Ecology and Education from Teaching as a Subversive Activity through Amusing Ourselves to Death to Technopoly. And again, she is someone who teaches at the University of Southern Mississippi. So in this article, this is where you can find it, so I'll leave it up for you to check it out. It's definitely a recommended article. She mentions the premise in Postman's work that his premise was accepting or resisting change in the media environment in which we educate is a matter of life or death, life or death. So with technology emerging, changes are happening which may or may not be very good. So she talks about the purpose. Ms. Ross' purpose is to review the 3 books, as we mentioned, and provide critical reflection upon her teaching experiences juxtaposed with Postman's ideas. So she's going to talk about how she relates his work to the classroom. Well, his first book from 1969, Teaching as a Subversive Activity, Postman and Weingartner contend that failing to revolutionize education could result in teaching ourselves to death. So we need to not only keep up with technology, but figure out how to incorporate it. Well, Postman's recommendation in the book that she mentions is that the teacher's basic mode of discourse with students is questioning. So it's not electronics, but instead it's about questioning and furthering our education. Also becoming proficient in crap detecting, and we talked a little bit about that in Amusing Ourselves to Death, and also adapting new learning styles in the classroom. So, how it adapted to the classroom? Well, she tried to teach a group of 9th graders at the time, and it was from a poor rural community, and it didn't go over very well. Some of the readings she assigned were above them, and she decided that what they needed most was to be exposed to theater and to be exposed to life itself, because some of them had not been outside of the bubble. So the subversive teaching techniques, not so great. And then secondly, she talks about the 1985 book Amusing Ourselves to Death, where Postman compares and contrasts the American culture regarding the print age to the electronic age. And television is considered inferior to print. So that's what Postman was arguing. While the students' reaction, at that time, she was teaching at Clarkson University in New York, and she did. She tried to explore, different media, incorporate it into the classroom. And it's funny, she said that while she was watching one TV show, a literature professor walked by and saw them watching television and yelled, "Pretty low brow, professor." So that was an interesting note. And then the third book that she talked about is Technopoly, where Postman is talking about the technological change is neither additive nor subtractive, it's ecological. One sufficient change could generate total change. So again, technology is at the center. And at the time when she was teaching, the students weren't really afraid of technology. In fact, the World Wide Web was becoming popular, and the cyberspace was something that was seen as an instrument of freedom. So those were some of her observations at the time. These are her conclusions at the end of the article. She says that Postman's views changed from book to book as he saw significant changes in the media ecology. So there were changes over time. She also said that Postman was not on the side of change or resistant, but willing to help the students in the present. So there was an objective nature to his work. And then the third and final conclusion she came up with in the article was Postman was not constrained by previous conclusions in making recommendations in the present environment. So she respected his work. All right, so that's the article. I think you should check it out. Very informative. Blessings.